Sponsored by Big Orange Concrete Pumping. So the SEC spring meetings are going on in Desden. Basically, the SEC is going to move to a potential 9-game scheduling format. They may stay at 8, but it's going to be 9. They might stay for 8 for another year. But anyway, how this works: each team will have 3 set SEC opponents that will play each other every year, and then the other 6 games will be on a rotation. But I mean, it isn't the type of rotation that we have now. Obviously, each SEC team will have to play, each other every other year, except for the 3 set opponents. Do you like this? Why or why not?
I don't know about it. Like, I like it to an extent because it takes away from your Tennessee. It could take away from your Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina. It could take away from that every single year. But then again, it's also the fact of you never really get to see a whole lot of Tennessee, Auburn, or Tennessee, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Arkansas, A&M. You never get to really see a whole lot of it. Like, the only solution I would have for it, and I know you don't want to do this, because, schools need their cupcake games, and then you need your big non-conference games for TV. But I'm telling you, I think when we had COVID, the All-SEC schedule, I thought it worked out pretty good. Now, if it was me making decisions, I'd go with you play 12 games, 10 of them are SEC, 2 are non-conference. That's just me and my prediction, but that's how I feel about it.
I can agree with you on some of it. Like the point where you said, we play every year. We play Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, South Carolina. We play them at teams every year, and that's how I kind of still want it to be. But with Texas and Oklahoma moving in, this is why it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will say this: I don't like that Oklahoma and Texas is joining the SEC. I do not like that, but I do understand why they are joining the SEC, because the TV rights money, the money that they get back from the conference. I mean, and all of college football is just starting to set themselves up for the next 25 years by realigning all these conferences.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to start happening. But the thing with the 3 teams, who's the 3 teams that we need to play every year?
Yeah, we're going to get into that here in a second.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that's the struggle right now.
Yeah, that's the overall. I do like it. I mean, I hate to lose the rivals, but it's not like it's going to be years before we play them again. So in a way, let's say we miss Florida one year. In a way, it kind of adds that much more.
Yeah, it adds that much. I'm not trying to go back on what I said, but you do got a good point. Whenever, and this is how it just is in life and everything, you take something away from somebody, whenever they get it back, it means more.
Right.
And I think that could intense the rivalry just a little bit. Because it's not like, we got bragging rights for a whole year. It's like, no, you got bragging rights for a whole nother 2, maybe 3 years.
it also it makes us look stronger as a conference.
It does.
Because when we have to play more SEC games, even though it's one more, I mean, the Big Ten is the Big Ten. I mean, Ohio State, Michigan, they are powerhouses. I'll give them credit. But then they got to play Iowa, Illinois. Penn State's actually good. I'll give them credit.
They're the powerhouse of the cupcakes.
But Nebraska and all them cupcake teams, and when SEC, Tennessee's going to be over here playing one more SEC game, which means we have to play one more top-notch team in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
What I really do like about it, though, like we was talking about earlier, is when is the last time that Georgia's played Alabama in regular season? I mean, they're just skating by. It just, to me, it's just time for some of these other teams to get a dose of kind of what Tennessee's slate is every single year. I mean, nobody else has to play, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, year. And then, even Kentucky. Kentucky's most of the time solid. Then we've got a team out of the West as well. So, one thing that does bother me about it though is that we beat each other up. I mean, look at Michigan's schedule. I mean, talk about a cakewalk. I mean, they don't play anybody. And then you've got Ohio State. Hell, I mean, they win the MAC championship by week 8 every year. I mean, that, like that's just it. That's who they play. But it just sucks that the SEC does beat each other up, and we don't stay fresh. And then the playoffs come, and we're getting a fresh Ohio State team or something like that. But with all that being said, Tennessee has a lot of rivalries: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky. I mean,
even Vandy.
Even Vandy historically is a huge rivalry, and in recent years, South Carolina has become a huge rivalry. So, which 3 teams, does Tennessee need to play every year?
Florida, of course.
You got Florida,
because that's our number 1 rival. I think, anyways. Alabama, 3rd Saturday in October. Last one, Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah, they're right above us. And we just got to beat Kentucky.
You hear mine? And I think this one, it hits a little more to home. But I think we need Alabama. Because, look, as long as God is blessing this beautiful earth, Tennessee and Alabama, they're going to play each other and they're going to hate each other.
Agreed.
Then Georgia. Because, to me, they're the best team right now, and they're going to be for a minute. And to be the man, you got to beat the man. And then last but not least, I'm going to go with Vanderbilt. Because, by God, we can win the SEC East. We can win the whole SEC. We can win the Natty. Every year, we need to say, without a shadow of a doubt, by God, we're the best team in the state.
In my mind, initially, just not thinking it through, it was Alabama because you just don't fuck with the 3rd week of October. And then Florida, I think to a lot of people it's more of a personal preference, not like a historic rivalry. I mean, it don't go back that far.
It goes back to what, 90 maybe?
Yeah, and then my next would be Georgia, but like I said, initially that's just my thoughts. But to me, the right answer, the traditional answer, the answer that kind of has the best mix of both rivals plus being smart with scheduling. A lot of people's probably going to disagree, but my first one would be Vanderbilt. I mean, this is Tennessee's oldest rival. I mean, General Nealon was hired to beat Vanderbilt. So that's one for me. I think the next is Kentucky. You bring back the damn beer barrel. Because we missed the beer barrel.
If anyone knows where it's at, look, we'll even make a new one. We got connections.
Yeah, we can make a new one. And then the third one, obviously, is going to be the third week of October when Tennessee and Alabama square off. And I would love, this is right up your alley, Spanky. Mm-hmm. I would love to see the old school home and home jerseys.
That's right.
Tennessee, Alabama. The red
right.
on the orange.
See, look, and that's the thing I want to talk about. I think this needs to be a rule in the rule book every single year that one team does this a game. One team wears their orange or their color, another team wears their color. I don't like white jerseys. I don't. Like a couple years ago when I think it was Florida, Georgia, they would do their rivalry. Florida wear blue, Georgia wear red. See, I like that stuff.
It's old school.
It is. Because back then they didn't have 29 different combinations. They just had a cloth and they had Granny Smith out back. So the number on the piece of cloth, they go out there and they played football. Okay, and that's old school. Yeah. They didn't even have a hat. All they had in the helmet was a knee pad and a hat. That's all they had. They duct taped the knee pad up in the hat so you don't hit nobody with your head. And boom. Just old school. And it's a clean look, too. Now,
I've opened up a bag of worms. Gordon.
Now, the Tennessee and Alabama thing, I don't know about it. Because I get it, it's old school. But to the eye of the viewer on television, orange and red don't mix really well. Let me tell you, a good rivalry.
That was before the HD.
I know. I understand why you did, and I appreciate it. Let me tell you what would look really good if we did do this, orange and then the blue, like Tennessee and then
Florida,
Kentucky.
yeah.
Kentucky, yeah. Florida, Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah, that would look good. I mean,
Or Vanderbilt. Let them wear black or whatever they want to wear. I don't.
black, yeah. They need a gold.
Yeah, they do. But you got to win to get gold too. So.
I genuinely feel sorry for the football purist out there. I really do. I'm a purist to a certain point. I'm kind of a hybrid, I guess. But, man, they have to be furious right now.
Oh, yeah. They got to. I'm telling you, they're sitting on their stumps and they're cussing at. They're about as upset as a midget with a yo-yo. Like, they're just all fired up about it.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, man. I mean, possibly no Tennessee, Florida every year. I mean, even games like Georgia, Auburn. Who knows what the SEC will decide, but what you should decide on, though, is using Big Orange Concrete Pumping for your next concrete project.
Right.
We'll be right back. Big Orange Concrete Pumping. They can accommodate any residential or commercial concrete project that you may have in mind. They have one of the biggest line pumps in the state. They take a lot of pride in their work, and they're waiting on your phone call today. Their number is 865-371-3367. Whether you're pumping noise and kneeling or pumping concrete, make sure you roll with the Big Orange. That's Big Orange Concrete Pumping, 865-371-3367.
Megan's Cleaning Services is here to meet all